are like a girl. Say something like that these days and you might want to duck. That girl is probably just as capable as any boy out on the field or court. Joining us now to talk about the many exciting opportunities for girls in sports today is sports psychology expert Dr. Stankovich. Thanks so much for joining us, Chris.
Thanks, Erica.
This is something that has really come a long way in the past couple of decades. When I was younger, we really had to push just to get girls equal opportunity in like middle school basketball, that kind of thing. Now girls have all kinds of chances out there.
Completely different landscape. In fact, probably when we were kids, you might have even played on boys' teams, which was common. And nowadays, not only are we seeing more opportunities for girls, and that's a great thing in and of itself, but also the competition level is phenomenal. I know we just had the NCAA basketball tournament a few weeks back, and the teams that competed at the college level were simply amazing. And I think this is an exciting time for girls in sports.
Yeah, and I played with the boys because I had to, because there was no other option. But do you suggest that still for girls to maybe go out and play baseball instead of softball when they're younger, especially before the hormones really start coming in? Do you think it helps?
Well, I think that's a family-by-family decision, but the good news is you have choices. Like we just said a moment ago, back in the old days, you might not have had any other choice but to have your daughter play on a boy team. Nowadays, we have more opportunities for girls, so I think families have that choice of whether or not they want to have their daughter play on a boys or primarily boys team, or go just with an exclusively girls team. So I think having a choice is a good thing.
Yeah, but a lot of girls today, not just the ones who are into athletics, face a lot of different kinds of pressures, and that trickles into athletics too, right, Chris?
It does. I mean, I think probably the biggest glaring difference between boys and girls sport has to do with body image. Some of the girls sports, when you think of gymnastics and dancing and ice skating and things like that, a lot of times depend on form and how they look. And unfortunately, in worst case scenarios, sometimes we see eating disorders. Well, we certainly see them more present in girls than we do boys. Those same circumstances don't really exist for boys as they do for girls, so it's a serious problem.
And it's something that you deal with on a regular basis when you have people just come into your office and talk individually, or you bring in entire families to talk to you.
Yeah, it does happen. Fortunately, we do have a lot of treatment options available today. A lot of people in mental health work from a cognitive behavioral framework where they help the young girl identify some of her irrational thinking and why she's using food or controlling food intake, and they also look at the behaviors that go with that. What kinds of things is she purchasing to eat, when is she eating, and so on. And the good news is the efficacy of a cognitive behavioral approach is quite high, so we can feel optimistic about treatment.
Okay, it is great news. Great talking to you once again, Dr. Stankovich. If you'd like more about this topic or anything else the Sports Doc talks